Welcome to the Rugby 100 Club. I'm your host, Matt Courtwright, and I'm with Doc from New Orleans. Doc, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Matt. Excited to be here, brother.
Thanks for making time for me, dude. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to have these relationships other than just being a massive fan. The fact that I can look at you eye to eye and be like, this guy knows how to eat and he knows how to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, getting to meet your mom, pa last year was really like, I love that kind of stuff personally. It's nice to be around you without it being about rugby.
Absolutely, man. I think that's one of the things we're fortunate currently in the league is accessibility to the players is huge. I mean, we're out in the community all the time, just living life and having a great time. And I haven't met one guy that won't stop that chit chat with a fan or anybody else on the street.
It's appreciated, man, because not enough people get that interaction. And I think that's what's going to continue to grow rugby, having the ability to have that fan and player interaction that's not driven by ego.
Yeah, you know? I 100% agree, man.
Yeah. So my first question to get this conversation rolling is, how did you get your nickname?
So I'm a Navy corpsman. So that's a medic for the Navy and the Marine Corps. Doc is a moniker you get once you've earned it from the Marines. I served 1st Marine Division, 1-5 and 2-5. Shout out to my boys. Once I earned it, that's what everybody started calling me. Flash time point to 2013. I was at the special boat teams over in Little Creek, Virginia. My rugby dad, Butters, he's kind of a legend in the club rugby world, got me into playing. I came to his first practice. He said, "This is Doc," and it's stuck ever since. So,
oh, I love that. Okay, no, because I know you and I were cussing and discussing before this interview, and that's one of those I had to know. I know your government name, but that's you've worked so hard to keep this nickname present, and I love it. I love it no matter what. But I think the reason I like it more is because this is a part of our culture. This is part of rugby like club and how everybody has a nickname.
Sure.
And you keeping it alive in the MLR, where I feel like the MLR is not really like they haven't thought about the community and the culture of rugby.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those things too. Like a lot of guys that you see in the league now, and credit to them, they were ballers, so they played in college and they played these high level programs and stuff like that. But didn't have that opportunity. I was serving good old Uncle Sam for a long time, almost retired now, but. So I came from the club scene. I started playing D1 club rugby at Norfolk, Virginia with the Norfolk Blues. Came up through the select side system, all that stuff. Got to look at gold, and it's been there ever since. So I'm a club guy.
Yeah. And your buddy, your partner in crime there, Mr. Falcon. I made sure I got your team and his team, right? So let's go. Let's go.
Really?
Oh, man, I love it. So, hey, you've played – it looks like, if I'm doing my homework correctly, that you've played for NOLA is this your 5th season you're coming up on, or 6th?
Going on 7. Yeah, I got signed in 2019.
I love being wrong.
Yeah, I've been around for a hot minute. 2019, I got called up. One of the guys got hurt. I was playing for the club down there. I was drastically unprepared for that leap, but they needed a guy, and I showed up and tried my best. I got told summertime 2019, like, hey, we like you as a guy. You want to stick around? You got a lot of work to do. So I busted my ass all summer and ate the weights and ate the steaks and got to stick around for a couple more years.
Oh, I love that. I've got to know a little bit about you with all our cronies in common, to say the least. That I'm like, I feel like I know you way better than I actually do. And I just could I got to get this guy to do an interview with me because I just can't wait to hear what you say because you're a candid character.
Yeah. I tell you how it is, how I feel about it. That's for sure.
I like the wholesomeness. I like the honesty because that's just men being men. Did you enlist or were you an officer?
No, I enlisted. Yeah.
Okay.
19 years and change right now. Enlisted in 2005.
That's amazing. Wow.
All right. It's probably the best decision I ever made. I was a teenage knucklehead and I was destined for ungreat things. So it's probably a good idea. I got on signed the papers and got on that bus.
Boy, can I relate to that. Yeah. I think that's, and that's part of that's again part of rugby that has really helped, and mostly, I mean, definitely here in America, but because it's not as large. But I've heard a lot of great stories similar to where people join the rugby clubs instead of, like, maybe they're involved with gangs or massive depression, and in the community, and the acceptance and understanding is really amazing with rugby. So it seems to help build our culture that us rebels without a cause at times find a home.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of, again, credit to my boy Butters. We served together. We were deployed overseas together a couple of times, and I'd come back and I was struggling hard, just reintegrating with life and being back in the States, and not having what I would call a proper purpose. And then I was we had worked out that morning, and then it was probably like 8:30 at night. I was still I went back to the gym to get another workout in. He walks in, he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You're supposed to be at home, brother. We're off work." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just getting some extra stuff in." He's like, "Yeah, sure you are, bud." He's like, "Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, we got practice." And I've been playing ever since.
Dude, I love that. I love that. So I'm going to ask you a just off the wall question. What's your favorite meal?
Oh, steak and eggs by far.
Oh yeah. Okay. 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 And what's your guilty pleasure?
Ooh, I'm not a huge sweets guy, but from time to time, my grandma makes this really good oatmeal cake that is very southern and very, very sugary and probably terrible for you. But it's one of our family recipes that go a long way. So every time I see that cake, I gotta have a piece.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh man. I'm thinking of king cake right now, where I haven't tried it yet, but I want to try it just to say I
Well,
have.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not a bad time to not be in New Orleans right now because the king cakes are abundant and there's
Oh
nothing.
really?
Oh, they're everywhere.
It's
My last,
is it just the build up to Mardi Gras? Is that why?
I mean, the season starts in January. They do the Joan of Arc parade. It's like I think it was January 7th or something, but it's full go right
Holy
now. It's
Moses!
carnival season down there.
So it's like almost, well, not almost. It's like 2 months prior.
Oh yeah, it's starting to heat
Okay.
up, and it'll heat up. I think Fat Tuesday is like the first week of March. I think it's that first Tuesday. So
Yeah, it's the fourth. Yep,
yeah,
I know.
next.
I'll be there. I'll be there
Yeah,
for my first time with our friends in common,
awesome.
the
Yeah,
Falcons. Yeah, yeah.
it's an experience for sure.
Okay, good. I'm excited, but I also know that I'm not as spry and young as I once was. So it's like, as much as I wish I could drink all day, I know damn well I'll be good after 3 and be like ready to heat the sheets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's ways to do Mardi Gras. Like the locals are probably the best, and that's why good you're going with Dan, Sheila, and them because it's like there's a way to do it when you're 18 to 24 and you're just a chucklehead and you want to go do chucklehead things, and then there's a way to do it as a grown up, and you're still gonna have a great time. You're not gonna be out till God knows what time, and it's still fun.
That's funny because that's exactly what I asked Dan. I said, "Bro, I don't know if I'm made for this.
Yeah,
Let me ask some old questions. Like, are we going to be out all night? Because I mean, it's cool when I was younger, but I just can't do it anymore." And he's like, "No, no, no, no. We can cut it off at 3 if you want." And I was like,
yeah.
"Woo, okay, cool, bro. I appreciate that."
And
My
then once you get
goodness.
a couple under your belt, then you're like, okay, this parade sucks. This one's awesome, but I don't want to be here because you can't get out of here. So I'll go over here and do this part. My parents came last year and I had like a whole itinerary for them. My mom's like, I want to go to Bourbon Street. I was like, we'll go to Bourbon Street before 4 o'clock. After that, we ain't going. So
Right, right. Because all the young bloods get out there and they just
it
start
gets,
whooping it up.
and I don't love crowds, but like the crowd on Bourbon Street and Mardi Gras is next level. You're shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of chuckleheads spilling drinks, and that's just not where I need to be.
No, no, I have a feeling I'd be putting one of those clinks that I hear about on each corner all of a sudden with
Yeah,
our
don't do that. You're there till
assault.
it's over too. That's not fun.
No, no, I've heard great things about it. Well, I got a question. Like, how did you meet your Queen Lauren?
Yeah, I got a divorce in 2022, and the boys had enough with me not dating. They're like, "Look, bro, you got to get back out there, figure it out." So they snatched my phone and put me on one of the dating apps, and we linked up, and we had a date scheduled. She's a flight nurse out of Mississippi, and they got stuck for weather in New Orleans one night, and she tried to call me out and say, "Come meet us for dinner," and I was like, "Sweet." Now it's date one, and been dating for a while now, and I'm gonna marry that girl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying, dude. And, it's interesting. Well, last time I was in New Orleans, and I say we, I mean my wife and I. Uh, the day before I got to meet you and your family, uh, I guess Lauren and her were just shooting the gift up in the stands and just having a hoot. Not had no idea who each other were or who's other half was, kind of thing. And then we show up at breakfast and she's across from my wife, and it's like, what a small world. How does that work? So it's like we both walked away and was like, those guys are freaking awesome, dude. You guys are so much fun. So much fun. I mean,
Yeah, thanks, man. We
love
just
it.
try to keep it real. That's all we can do, man.
Yeah, and it's nice to be vulnerable, right? Like it's cool. It's really cool. Man, I had questions and everything, and I'm like, bro, I don't have to ask you the questions. You already spit it out. Like I appreciate not having to pull on your teeth to get a conversation.
Yeah, I think one of the things the league needs to do for some of these boys is have like interview prep time with them. Like, hey guys, you got to do this. This is part of your job. Learn how to
Yeah.
have a conversation. It's funny when we do like the team meet and greets, because you got a couple of the old boys that are like, we know the game. You got to go say hi to everybody and shake hands, especially New Orleans. It's, you're giving kisses and hugs to basically everybody that walks by you. But the young guys, when they get there, we're like, all right, check this out. Your goal today, you got to talk to 5 people you don't know. And they're like, what? It's so funny.
Yeah. I know, you're so right. I'm running into this obviously with the players up here in Seattle, and I'll go up to them like, hey, any chance I could do an interview with you sometime? And they're like, words. They just froze. I'm like, okay, maybe not. Okay, that's okay.
We're good.
Yeah, I'll move on. Thank you. Bye. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this guy just freaked out. And I mean, I'm probably one of the most familiar faces of a fan to all of them. So if he's freaking out with me, I can only imagine what he'd be like, Sally that just showed up for her first game and said, hi. And he'd be like, I'm sorry, ma'am, what?
Yeah.
So how's your schedule working this season with
Gosh.
the boys? Chaos, I'm seeing.
Yeah. I mean, last year was chaos in itself for sure. Cause Fitzy re-signed me out of nowhere. I call him like, what's this? He's like, yeah, we're keeping you. I was like, okay, I live in South Carolina. This is going to be weird. He's like, we want you to come down for preseason for a couple weeks. And then, into the season when guys are beaten and broken, maybe we'll call you up. I'm like, all right, man, cool. I ended up playing like 12 games. So this year's a little different. I'm on the tail end of my career. So there's a large part of where you have to transition out, a lot of paperwork, medical assessments, all that stuff.
Oh, really? That's
so
new.
Yeah, it's a lot. But they do this awesome program now that I'm working with the team on. It's called Skill Bridge. It's an opportunity to intern. So my goal career-wise is to become a strength coach. Well, I've developed a pretty decent relationship with our strength coach down there, Tim Kettenring. He's a genius. And we're trying to work it to where I'll be an intern assistant strength coach under him for this season / player. I did tear my Achilles in August, so we're still recovering from that.
Ouch.
Goal would be to be cleared late April, early May. By then they probably got it figured out and won't need me much, hopefully. I mean, we got some studs this year, so I highly doubt I'll see the pitch, but I just want to get back around it. And who knows? I mean, I'm not a young man, so try my hat at assistant strength coach for a while and see if maybe I can add value that way.
I like that. Transitioning into a coach seems perfect for you, sincerely. Just your mannerism, and I know the boys will respect you.
Yeah, I mean, I love the topic of strength and conditioning. I've been around it. I mean, like I said in 2019, when I almost got cut and I worked my ass off to stay there, it took a lot of that. So yeah, it's just finishing up my degree, getting my certifications, all that stuff, and then just being a sponge as much as I can to Tim and the coaching staff we got down there as far as the day-to-day and understanding the ins and outs, and then continue to provide all the good old man stuff to the boys as much as I can. So
the good old man stuff.
I'm definitely the oldest guy in the locker room by far. That's for sure.
Yeah. What are you creeping in on?
I'll be 38 in February.
Okay. The first guy I think of that was in similar shoes to you was Samu Manoa.
Yeah.
He was around, I think he was 38 when he retired. I think he's 39 now. So, yeah.
So Fitzy has this grand idea that I'm going to play when I'm 40. We'll see how that goes, but I'll stick around as long as I'm a value add for sure.
Right. Like, I think your physique's worthy. I mean, I know you keep yourself.
Love rugby? So does Matt. He is host of the Rugby 100 Club podcast, where Major League Rugby stars tell their stories. But it's more than a podcast, it's a passport. Rugby 100 Club builds epic fan trips to follow your team on the road. Game day tickets included. Tailgates and fan meetups? You bet. Unforgettable memories every single time. Rugby 100 Club, where fandom meets the road.
Welcome to Rugby 100 Club. I'm your dude, Matt Courtwright. I'm with the legendary prop for NOLA Gold, Doc. Thanks for making time, Doc.
Anytime, Matt.
So I got some wholesome questions for you, sir. As the people, gonna get to know you a little better if they haven't already talked with you or interacted with you, as your Southern charm rubs off as you're around people. I'm going to ask, like, what inspired you to pursue a career in rugby, and how did you first get into the sport?
Yeah, so a great buddy of mine, Brian Bitter, everybody calls him Butters, legend in the club scene. We served together up in Virginia with the NSW unit we were at. So we deployed a couple of times. I was kind of struggling when we got home, reintegrating, PTSD, all that kind of stuff. And he caught on to it. And he was like, hey, brother, I got just the thing. Come to rugby. So I started playing club rugby up there for D1 with the Norfolk Blues, and then worked my way Capital Select side, South Select side. In 2018, I got transferred down to New Orleans, where I was the senior medical guy for 4th Marine Aircraft Wing. And I was playing for the NORFC, the NOLA club team down there. It's a great rugby community down in New Orleans. There's so many teams in the city. They have their own circuit in the fall. It's a great time. And I really had no aspirations. I was like, I'm going to play club. I'm going to keep playing club. I love club. And then during the 2019 season, one of our props on NOLA got hurt, and Fitzy reached out, and he's like, hey, you want to get a look? And I laughed at him, and I was like, well, as well as I do, since you were a Marine, that I have to go ask my dad. So I had to schedule a meeting with the general, and me and the general had a nice long chat about what it was going to take and what it was going to be. And he kind of looked at me, and he's like, look, as long as you don't suck at your job here, you can do whatever you want. So, yeah, struggled through that 2019 season pretty hard. Got told summertime 2019, if I wanted to stick around with the boys, that I was going to have to put in a lot of work. And that was all the motivation it took. So I love rugby. I'll play rugby till the day I die, or my body can't handle it anymore. And so I'm going to play as high of a level as possible. I've found a home with NOLA. I love the boys down there. I got the logo tattooed on me. I'm NOLA Goldman until I die. So here we go.
I didn't know that. That's good stuff right there. Ride or die, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Like, can you think of a moment in your career that stands out as most challenging and how you overcame it?
I think that first season was pretty brutal. Just again, you think you're decent in the club scene, and then you make that jump. And I never went to college, let alone play college rugby, so I don't even know how that is. Right. So I went straight from club rugby, twice a week practices, games on Saturday, beers with the boys, to you're training 4 or 5 days a week. And it's not, we don't have football rules where you only have so many padded practices and everything else. I mean, we're live scrumming every week. We're tackling every week. We're running, you just get broken. So there was a couple days I had to go back to the office and, sneak a little cheeky nap under the desk kind of thing to survive. Smart. But no, I think the culmination for me was the Dallas game last year. My schedule was kind of crazy because I was stationed somewhere else and flying to games back and forth and making training when I could. So, I go to this Dallas game thinking, cool, I'll come in second half, guy in front of me is a monster. So he's going to play as much as he can. Love it. And unfortunately he got hurt like the first 12 minutes of the game. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and we're just going to go. Sweet. And then one of our other props got a red card. So then we have no subs. So it's me and Matt Harmon for 60-something minutes in this game. Go hard. And it's probably the best game I've ever played in my life. And it was kind of, I took a moment in the locker room as I was getting my face stitched up. And I was like, you know what? We can still do this, old bull. We got this.
Wow, dude, that's legendary.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it was pretty brutal, but we had to get the win. So when we did, the boys pulled it out. So it was a good day.
wow. You, needless to say, I would assume that you would agree that it appears you work well under pressure.
Yeah, I think credit to my life choices and serving Uncle Sam for a good many years. I've kind of thrived under that moment. So when the metal meet the meat, you can count on Doc.
Yeah, hence the nickname Doc. That's the best part. We're gonna go to a short break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with Doc asking questions and getting answers, and we're getting even more information than a lot of some of the players share, which is awesome. That I don't have to pull teeth, because some of them are like, "Don't ask them a yes and no question," because they'll be like, "No."
Well, I'm a rather opinionated person, so I don't typically give those answers anyway.
Oh, good. Bring it. I love it. Like that's. I think people forget that banter and disagreements are a part of are a form of communication.
Oh, absolutely. And how are you supposed to learn? Like if if all you ever do is read and hear the same crap, you're never going to learn.
Right. I don't. I mean, I don't. Just like yourself, I've just never been good at being a sheep.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, what does a typical week of training look like for you during the season? Because you're unique. You're a unicorn, bro, for sure.
Yeah, so it's obviously a little different now that I'm not there full time, unfortunately. When I was there full time, it'd literally be day one. You wake up. I'd wake up at 5:30, get some cardio in, some movement stuff at the gym. I'd go to work for 2 or 3 hours, usually briefings and stuff with the boss in the morning. Head off to training for 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours, depending on what day it was. Back to the office for 2 or 3 hours, finish up my work, some calls to my subordinate units, stuff like that. And then probably another gym session in the evening, eat as much food as I could possibly do, and then pass out, rinse and repeat. Wow. So it was pretty brutal. But again, it's such a great opportunity that, when it happened to me, I told myself and everyone around me, I was like, I'm going to make this work however I have to make it work. And my last gig required a good bit of travel. So there'd be travel weeks where I'd tell Fitzy and the boys, I'm like, hey, look, like Tuesday, I'm going to fly out immediately after training. I have to go inspect this unit on Wednesday. I'll fly back Wednesday night or Thursday morning, and I'll be at training. Don't worry about it. And so we made it work. Now it's a little different. Wow. Now it's just all, I do a lot of film watching and stuff when I'm not with the boys down in NOLA. So it'll be, similar wake up time. Can't sleep that well anyway. So it's wake up in the morning, get some workout in, go into the office for a bit, check the training schedule, what I got to do for which pilot, which squadron, and then do some film review, maybe some calls with the coaches if they got some time, and then, gym in the afternoon, some kind of mobility work / eating in the evening. It's not hunting season anymore, so I missed most of that. But yeah, find something to do. Fishing's pretty hot right now up here in South Carolina, so I'll get some fishing in from time to time, and then just try to relax a bit and go to bed.
That sounds like a good time. I would love to go fishing with you, bro. That would be a good time. That's one thing.
Come to NOLA, that's the time to do it, man. The fishing down there out of Venice is unreal.
I'm in, man. I'm so in. That sounds like a great time. How do you handle mental and physical demands of playing rugby at a professional level?
Yeah, I think a lot of guys don't understand the mental side that much until you kind of see it.
Yeah.
And it takes some time to adjust to it. We see it with the younger cats. They're just not used to it. Similar like me coming from the club, I was drastically unprepared for that jump. But it's a full-time gig. And, you look at the daily schedule and you're like, oh, I'm only here for like 3 or 4 hours. That's a long 3 or 4 hours. And you got to be switched on. And then when you're home, yeah, you get to refuel and relax for a bit, be with your family if you got it. But then you got to dig into the books, watch the film, cut the film. Like, we're texting each other in group chats like, hey, how did this feel? Hey, check out this cut of this film. What could I do better next scrum? Or, hey, I had you here. This is what I did. So if you see it again, just prevent it by doing this. And it's just constant. And then taking care of the body's huge. I mean, like if you look at the season schedule, it's pretty brutal. I think we got a bye week in like week 3 or 4 this year, and then it's all go until playoffs. So you got to just start early and do it all the time in the off season. Like, yeah, you're off, but not to crap on the NFL guys again, but you better stay in shape. Like you got to go to the gym. It's not an option, So that's all it is. It's a daily grind.
Matter of fact, if I recall correctly, I believe your bye is over the weekend of March 1st. The weekend before Mardi Gras.
It's good timing for us for sure, because that town is absolutely outrageous that time. However,
I bet.
The 10 games we have after that or whatever that's going to be a brutal stretch for the boys for sure.
Yeah, and it seems that every team is having a similar concern, like you're describing, where you have a number of games in a short period of time.
Yeah.
But everybody's been handed the same hand. Everybody's been dealt the same hand is what I mean to say. And we're going to see what happens, because injuries happen and fatigue happens, and that's where you really find out where your strength is in your squads, and it's going to persevere. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right in that aspect. I also think, it's the job we love to do, right? So we got to protect the players as much as possible. I think the league and the new Players Association that's kind of hit the ground running with all that stuff, they came to an agreement, and it's cool. And I think the coaches staff, at least I can speak for ours, they're fully in front of it. They understand how that week's going to go. They've already planned for it. And then we just got to execute. You got to look at that on your schedule, and you got to be like, we know that week's going to suck. So put yourself in the best position you can before that week, just in case something does hit the fan. Some guy gets injured. Someone pulls up during warmups. Like, all these things happen. Rugby is brutal. We all know it's going to happen. So
right.
By the end of it, you're walking wounded status at that point. So you just got to do what you can before that point.
So I guess it's like every other plan anybody has that has a job that is like, you got to run stuff. You start out with a plan, and then, the plan just does its thing. You know what I mean? Like you just never know how it's going to really play out.
What's that famous, I think it's Tyson quote, everyone's got a plan till you get punched in the mouth, right? So
yeah, let's run with that quote, bro. That is good stuff. Oh, or rather, that's gold. I like that.
That a boy. Yeah.
I like that. Hey, we'll be right back.
Love rugby? So does Matt. He is host of the Rugby 100 Club podcast, where Major League Rugby stars tell their stories. But it's more than a podcast, it's a passport. Rugby 100 Club builds epic fan trips to follow your team on the road. Game day tickets included. Tailgates and fan meetups? You bet. Unforgettable memories every single time. Rugby 100 Club, where fandom meets the road.
All right, we're back with Doc. I want to ask you, bro, what advice would you give a young athlete, rugby player, how to play pro ball, what to expect at this level, how to get there?
Yeah, I think understand where you are and understand the group that you're around. Sometimes you get a lot of guys who think they're the big fish, but that's because you're in a little pond, right? As you start going up in the ranks and going to the next level and the next level, you start playing these phenoms that everybody's a fanboy of. And, half your team is going to get a picture with them after the game because they watched them growing up and all this other stuff, like understand who you are as a person, understand what motivates you, and just double down on it. You're not anyone who's not in the league right now that's fighting to get in the league. There's something you can do better. Anyone in the league right now that's fighting to stay in the league, there's something you can do to work on it. And I think the people that understand that and put the work in are the ones that are going to get there. Watch the rugby, do the drills, hit the gym, eat the foods. Don't go out every weekend with the boys and booze it up till 3 o'clock in the morning because that's what they're doing. If you're trying to get a look, it's going to take a year-round effort.
That's solid advice. Take yourself seriously, and and you'll persevere, I'm guessing, huh?
Yeah, and I think it's a professional sport, just like anything else. You're on the clock with it. I mean, I'm one of the older guys in the league, and I'm fortunate that, I have a full-time job. I say I'm fortunate now. Talk to me after practice. But, like, at times, I don't have to look at things where it's like, oh, I have to get to this to be an Eagle, or get to this so I can, play as long as I can until I'm done. Like, this is something I love to do, and I'll do it for literally as long as I physically can do it. But these young cats that are coming in, like, finish your schooling, graduate college, you have a fallback plan, and then do this as long as you can. As long as you love it, you play that ball. But no one's making $1 million playing rugby here in the States. So you got to know that going into it, and you got to live that life. I mean, my boy Cam down in NOLA, he's a prime example. He's been playing pro since he was 19 years old. He's in his 30s now. He's wrote the book on it, but he lives a lifestyle, and he travels and does all great stuff. But he knows what his lifestyle is. He lives that lifestyle, and he knows what he has to do to stay Cam Dolan, and it works.
That makes sense, because there is a compromise for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's that way in every sport, right? Like, you look at these NFL guys, and they're making millions of dollars, but you'd be crazy to think, a running back's going to have a 30-year NFL career. Like, that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So what can you do with the time you have to execute and to reach the goals that you want to do?
I love it. Thank you for that perspective. It's appreciated, especially as an OG as you are, bro. I mean, like we were talking earlier, how long have you been with New Orleans?
Yeah, going on 7 seasons, so it's big time.
That's huge, especially when the MLR is going into their 8th season, if that says anything. I mean, that's massive. I'm curious, do you know how many caps you have in the MLR?
I'm at like 20-something now. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, enough. I play when they need me to play, and I'll fight for a spot in the week, but it's about the wins for the boys. So
it's no, I mean, like, I see you on the pitch, and I've been a fan of yours long before I ever got to meet you, and seeing your McGilla gorilla self, and I talked to some of the players, and like, they remember you, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? And you're a fierce to be reckoned with. So, like, I had to ask the question, just curious, and I should ask more players, because more than anything, I'm curious if they know, because I've asked some of them, and they're like, I don't really know.
Well, I know, like, for us, we have stat sheets that we print out all the time. Big competition locker room, of course. Week to week, we always celebrate, milestone caps. NOLA Gold, we have what's called the Blazer Club. On your 10th cap, you get your NOLA Gold Blazer. It's a big thing for us. Obviously, the league did the 50 cap. You get, like, actual cap for it. That was pretty huge. But it's just something you got to celebrate with the boys. I mean, like you said, the turnover in the league's unreal. I mean, you saw it last year, especially in this offseason. Guys are different teams. We picked up some guys from other teams. We had guys go to other teams. So it's just cool. It's just a part of the culture and the stuff we got to keep going.
Yeah. So who are you thankful for in your rugby journey? If you're going to give a shout out, who are you going to shout out to?
That list is rather long and distinguished. I already shout out Butters. He knows who he is.
Oh, we know Butters, man. Yeah. He is the legend.
Yeah. And then, I mean, my early on coaches, Chris Porter, Jeremy Frayne up in Norfolk, obviously massive, get me started and keep me going. Rennie Daniels, USA South side, select side, he's been massive for me. For me, honestly, for the pro side, I owe a lot of it to Fitz. I mean, Fitz is the one who gave me my start. Most of the guys in NOLA will tell you he could, sell sand to a camel farmer, but he's the one who gave me my first look. He's a brother to me now, and I'll die for that man. But the coaching staff down in NOLA saw something in me in that 2019 when I was 312 pounds and could barely keep up at practice to put some effort into me. So, Kane Thompson, Nate Osborne, Taylor Howden, and now, the new coaching staff that we got in last year and that are, a couple came on this year. It's going to be unreal. And I'm just going to keep being a sponge and soaking up as much of it as I can.
That's exciting, actually. What do you think? How are the boys looking this season?
I think the signings this year are ridiculous. Definitely shoring up a lot of spots. They had to do some moving around for different people's personal stuff and this, that, and the other. It's a business at the end of the day. But I think we have a drastically aggressive squad, which is something we definitely need. And, new coaching staff that came in, Danny Lee from San Diego, couldn't ask for a better, we were a little worried at first. We were like, oh, Corey's out. He got an unreal opportunity back home, had to take it. I think all of us would have pushed him out of the locker room if he tried to not go. So then, we heard about Danny Lee coming in, and Danny's just showed up, came in early, embraced the city. Him and his family are just, salt of the earth kind of folks. And he's putting a play package that's going to be something to deal with. That's for sure.
That'll be good to watch. That'll be good to watch because he's been a successful coach as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unreal.
And then, yeah, back to the signings. I mean, we got some studs coming in. Front row wise, I love seeing Paul Mullen come on over. Like, that's huge for me. Just to kind of learn from a guy like that who's been doing it as long as he has, push him where I can, and can't help but get better.
Yeah. When you're surrounded by people better at you, then you will get better. Yeah. Your circle is strong, bro.
Damn right.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime you need it, man.
Man, thank you for that. For those watching, please like, share, and subscribe. Share. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just share it with your friends. Tell them about Doc. He's fun to watch on the pitch, and if you haven't seen it, you must. It's a must.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.